Captain's Vlog. Today, I think the topic will be the 11/11 phenomenon, because I'm just on a roll with talking about all the neat things that I experience in my day-to-day normal life, which is really not that normal. And I'm learning, the further I go, that the things that normally happen for me that are not really that normal at all, probably, are a very normal occurrence for lots of other people. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anyway, I started noticing the 11/11 phenomenon in 2013. This was around the beginning of the year, and this started happening for me right after the end of 2012. Now, some of you recall December 21st, 2012 was the date that the Mayan calendar was drawing to a close, and a lot of people had, apocalyptic predictions like, it's the end of the world. And of course, lots of us who know better know that's not how things work. And I went to a kind of a joking sort of apocalypse party that was really fun. And there were Twinkies at the apocalypse. There really were Twinkies at that party when nobody else could get their hands on Twinkies. Anyway, I got home from this party at night, and I was feeling kind of frustrated that nothing had happened, and I was hoping that there would be some sort of like something special would happen. I wasn't hoping for the end of the world to happen. I wanted something interesting to happen, and I guess I missed it. That's how I felt at the end of that day. And so as I'm returning home from this party, I decided, after I parked my car, that I'd look outside and do a little bit of stargazing like I do. And I'll never forget this because of everything that happened afterward. In December of 2012, I felt like my life was really like a normal person kind of a life, like I was just a muggle. I'm a non-magical person, don't have any kind of special abilities, and was very skeptical. I was like, yeah, psychic stuff, I don't really buy it, I don't really believe it, I don't know how to. I want to believe what they're saying, but my mind can't buy into it. I can't believe it. And so I just couldn't go and wholeheartedly agree with anything that people would say about these kind of topics. And of course, all this excitement about 2012 happening, and then nothing happened, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And so when I was out stargazing, I just kind of plaintively asked the stars, show me something, show me a sign that there is more to life than all of this pointless, meaningless day-to-day existence, where it seems like a lot of people, myself included, just go about our daily work and responsibility, and then you get to the end and you die, and that's it, and there's nothing to it. And I just didn't want that to be it. I was not satisfied with that. And I didn't really even know, am I asking a person or a thing, or am I asking God or the universe? Am I literally asking the stars? I just didn't even think about that at the time. I was just like, well, hey, I am among all of the light in the universe right now, in this moment, looking up at the stars. So illuminate me then, enlighten me. I was like, I felt like I was giving this kind of like a sarcastic challenge or something. Who knows if that had anything to do with it, but I sincerely did want to know what else is out there. What is there to life? What's the point of it? What's the meaning? And if I'm supposed to see a sign, I want to see a sign. Show me something. So about a couple weeks after this, some other things happened that were, they were related to the people that I knew at that time. And we're not in contact anymore. And since that was a really personal experience for them, it was really a big key part of my awakening. But since that was very personal for them, I'm going to respect their privacy and not discuss it here. So sorry about that. My personal real life friends know who I'm talking about and know exactly what event I'm talking about when I talk about January of 2013. So anyway, right around this same period of time when I had like this really key experience, and it related to 11/11 because these people had experienced the same phenomena and I just didn't believe it. I thought, well, this must be like a prime example of Bader-Meinhof syndrome or Bader-Meinhof. I don't know how that's pronounced. You might find that I say that a lot on my YouTube channel. I don't know how to pronounce the thing. And, just white American girl. What do you expect? Anyway, after I asked for this sign, like I noticed that like I was like looking for I was waiting for something. I was hoping I'd see something. And the 11/11 started showing up on the clock, and I was just like, that's funny. My circadian rhythms are that good that my body just knows when to look at the clock when it's exactly 11/11. So my skeptical brain was really not helping me at that point, because I started seeing it, noticing it, and immediately discounted it as pattern recognition and, Bader-Meinhof, and like, I'm just seeing patterns because I want to see them. I'm finding patterns in everything because I'm really looking for a pattern. I'm looking for some repeating thing that seems like it could be miraculous. And so I was like, yeah, nice one, universe. Like, you're going to have to try a little bit harder. And I laughed the whole thing off. And I completely dismissed the whole experience as being anything special. By saying, I'm looking for patterns. Lo and behold, late at night, I would wake up out of a dead sleep, and I really don't wake up in the middle of the night. I sleep all through the night, and I actually trained myself to do this from a very young age. I taught myself self-hypnosis to help me manage my sleep, and it really did work for me. And I'll make another video about that another time. Today we're talking about 11/11 though. So I noticed that I'd wake up in the middle of the night after I'd been asleep, and I'd roll over and look at the clock, and it would be exactly 11/11. And so I was like too groggy to do anything about it for a while, but then this happened more and more often. And then I would, I'd mention this to my friends, and they didn't believe me. Of course, they're like a mirror reflection of me. Like, all my relationships are like, they're me. They're just wearing another mask. And I'm just like, yeah, nice. So I started taking photos every time I would see 11/11. Or I'd get a screenshot off of my smartphone or whatever, like whenever I'd notice the time. And then after I started really taking it seriously, I was like, so what does this mean? Like, am I supposed to, learn more about this? And I like kind of drove myself crazy trying to figure it out. Like, okay, now I'm getting a sign, and I believe I'm getting a sign. Now what? Give me something. I was like, what am I supposed to get out of this? It's just numbers. And it's the same number over and over again. And it doesn't really seem to be pointing me anywhere else than just numbers. And I'm like, this is crazy making. How is anybody supposed to wake up from that? Like, are there people out there that really, like, they just, like, jump off from that stepping stone of, like, seeing the 11/11 phenomenon and then they just figure it all out? No, it totally does not happen that way, as I learned. So, anyway, further on into 2013, I started seeing more than just 11/11. And that happened, like, I want to say it was sometime after I did some research. Honestly, I just went to Google and I looked up 1111, and I also looked up 1111, and I looked up, repeating numbers, meaning, and like all these different phrases. I'd like put them all together and see what the Google hive mind could produce. By the way, for those of you who are noticing my hands are not on the wheel, it's because I'm at a dead stop. So anyway, after doing all this research and learning more about 1111 and learning about Edgar Cayce, who some of you may already be familiar with, he talked about 1111. I also found some other resources that talked about the 0 point and the Fibonacci sequence and, how this all relates. I also found that there are tons of people out there who see it all the time. And that's precisely why you have websites about it. That's why there are communities you can find on Facebook about 1111. And you'll probably find that I have liked those pages on Facebook, because I do like seeing 1111. It's actually like an affirmation for me. I started keeping a journal about 1111, and so I would just write down like what I was thinking about or what I was doing, and like what other kind of stuff was going on in my world whenever I would notice 1111. And a trend started to emerge. I also started keeping track of when I didn't see it, because I was seeing it so often that it started becoming weird when I wouldn't see it. So that's another little aside. Like if you had this experience yourself and you started like keeping a journal about it, you're either gonna drive yourself crazy with confirmation bias, or you're gonna drive yourself crazy trying to like unmake the magic, or make it into something that you want to believe. And I was trying to really keep an open mind without deciding what it meant for me ahead of time, because I really didn't have a clue, and I didn't have anybody else that I could really compare notes with. So when I journaled about it, I used a little app on my phone because that was the easiest way to quickly take notes about it. And so I would just check in with like, okay, I was doing this, one line. I was thinking this or feeling this emotion. And then, I'd put in a tag for the particular number sequence. And so when I tagged my post with those number sequences, I could search through the tags later and see if there's any correlation between like the events that were happening, correlation with the thoughts I was thinking or the emotions I was feeling. And here's what I noticed. I noticed that I only see 1111 when I am in a state of peace, when I'm in a state of happiness, when I feel joyfulness, when I'm contented. And I don't see any of that synchronicity when I'm feeling depressed or angry, when I'm feeling anxious or fearful about anything, and so on. So the pattern that I noticed over many months of journaling and like keeping a diary about it, I only see synchronicity when I'm feeling good, when I feel emotionally or mentally elevated, when there is not a lot of chaos going on in the material world around me. When I'm happy, like in general, I see the synchronicities everywhere. And it's not just 1111, like I see all kinds of them. Like I see 111, I see 333, 444. Some days I'll get like, they'll just be back to back like crazy. I'll get wrong number calls, and it's like a 222 number, and then I'll see like a car will merge in front of my car on the highway, and it'll have like 2222 on the license plate. And then, and this has happened before where it'll be like, you know, a car will merge in front of me, and then the next one, immediately after that, the next car in front of me will have a similar sequence of the same numbers. And that's pretty rare, but it does happen. And so, like, I'm just mindful of my thoughts and my feelings at the time. And it's different for everybody. Everybody else that I've talked to about it that sees synchronicity, if they see numbers or names or words or anything like that, it means different. It means something very specific to that person. Like, I cannot tell you what 1111 means for you. I've heard many people say it is your wake-up call. It's like my bestie, my best friend, she actually made this little, like, a meme. She shared this with me, and I just love it. It's a photo of an alarm clock, like a digital alarm clock with 1111 on it. She just put the text on it. God set an alarm clock that the whole world is waking up to. And that's what I believe is really happening with those kind of synchronicities, like 1111. People are being woken up and activated. And you can see examples of this all over the place, especially the film I Origins. If you've never seen that movie, I tell people that movie is a really wonderful parallel to describe how my awakening began. Because it all started with that. It started with seeing 1111 all the time. It did not stop there. It made me become way more keenly aware of myself. And this is not about all the other stuff that's going on in the outside world around us. It's not about what the world means to other people. It's not about what spirituality means to other people. This is not about telling everybody else what they need to do or what they should do. It is an inner awakening. It's a personal experience. And for me, it only happened because I asked for it. I asked the universe to give me a sign. I asked the universe to show me that there was more to life, more to the day-to-day, more than that, more than a very simple kind of a worldview and a very miserable kind of way of being. I didn't want to have that kind of limited perspective anymore. I wanted my whole consciousness to be cracked open. And so that's what the universe totally gave me. And it happens, you know, incrementally. As I'm ready for more, I get more. What else do I want to say about that? About the journaling about it. If you see the 1111 phenomenon, do you keep a journal about it? What kind of things have you noticed about it? I'd really love to get some comments and some feedback from people who experience the 1111 phenomenon, or if you see other kinds of synchronicity. What does it mean for you, and what have you learned about yourself since you started experiencing synchronicity? Do you feel that synchronicity has led you to a deeper understanding about anything, about yourself, or about the world as you know it? Do you feel like it's been confusing? What's really funny for me is that whenever this topic comes up, it always, when I'm talking to other people about it, it comes up in this really funny way. Like, a couple weeks ago, I was getting coffee at the coffee stand that's like across the street from my office. It's in one of the campus buildings, and there's a coffee shop there that's like, you know, it's a permanent thing. It's not like a portable kiosk kind of a thing. And I had ordered some special kind of a tea. It was like, I don't remember what it was. It was something I had never ordered before. And the person who rang me up and made the drink for me was a new person there who worked for the catering company that that staffs all of these different coffee stands in the cafeteria at work and everything. And he said, "Your total's $444." And I just kind of laughed, and I went, "Really? $444?" And it, you know, like, he instantly, you know, like, he started to apologize about the pricing or whatever. And I'm like, no, like, that's not, I am not complaining about the price. It's just 444 has been something that I've been seeing a lot of lately, like a synchronicity, you know, like 1111. Have you ever heard of that? And the guy said, "I see 1111 all the time, and I have no idea what it means." And so I just kind of, I just started laughing right then, because I just realized that my speaking up about seeing synchronicity was as much of an affirmation for him as it was for me. For me to be who I am and to talk about this stuff helps other people to learn more about themselves. And see, like, I wasn't even telling him anything. I just asked him, like, more questions about, like, so how often does that happen to you? He says, like, every day. And I said, do you know, like, what it means for you, or have you ever done any research about it to learn about it? And, like, it turned out he had never heard of the 1111 phenomenon before. He didn't know that it was a thing. He just thought that he looked at the clock all the time, and that's why he noticed that one. He just didn't ever really think about the other numbers, or, you know, they didn't stick out enough to him for him to notice the repeating part of it. That's been my experience. Like, I don't notice the other numbers if I do look at the clock, because they're not repeating over and over and over again in my face. You know, like a 444, right? Like, what if you ordered something different every time and your total was always the same? Wouldn't that, I mean, like, you would probably think this cashier is screwing with me, or you might start to wonder, you know, like, what am I missing here? Because it's really subtle, like, how these things happen. It's almost like it's a whisper. You're not going to be told what to do. If you have, like, guardian angels or guides or anything out there, in my experience, I've never gotten anything that's been really direct and really commanding, because they're just not like that. My guides are not like that, and the other people that I've spoken with about this have said the same thing. A lot of people agree that your guides, your guardians, protectors, angels, all of those loved ones who are really on your side for your benefit, for your highest path and your purpose, they are not going to tell you, you should not do that. They're not going to communicate with you like that. If anything, they're just going to give you a little hint that they're there, and for you to know that you can call on them for help, to give you inspiration when you need it. And it's very, very gentle. In my experience, all the signs that I ever get are very gentle, and they're not obtrusive, they're not forceful, they're not commanding. They don't give me anxiety about anything. They're always very reassuring. It's like getting a hug. And so 1111 is like that for me. When I see it, I feel like I'm getting a hug. And that's all it is. It feels like I'm getting a little reminder, like, hey, you're in alignment, way to go. Like, you know, spiritual alignment, like, hey, you're not forgetting about, like, the whole goal of this is to be happy. The whole goal of life, that's the purpose for life, is joy. So all of everything that I could ever talk about with a person will be about, like, what are some of the different ways that you can find joy for yourself? It's not about me. I mean, like, I'm not making a YouTube channel so I can become famous. I have no idea what I would do if I became famous. I'd probably want to hide in a corner. But you know, if you see synchronicity like that, you're definitely not losing your mind or going crazy. And especially with 11:11, because I did not believe it for quite a while until it was like in my face, like, you know, wake up, Rebecca, it's 11:11 p.m. You know, sorry you're asleep, but you're gonna be awake now to see this time on the clock because you weren't listening before. So how's that for you? I mean, it really did feel like the 11:11 thing was like shoved in my face before I would believe it, because I was such a skeptic. And now I see it all the time, and it's just like, it's just a little like a wink, like, hey, I'm paying attention, go you. I wonder, you know, if my guides are listening to me right now, do they have the same kind of sense of humor as I do? Do they laugh at my stupid jokes? Or do they just shake their heads and go, oh God. So anyway, that's about all I have to say for this episode. I've rambled on far too long. If you have any comments, feel free to drop me a line. If you have questions, or if you want to share your 11:11 experience or any other synchronicities, you can write to me at syriansage@gmail.com, and that's Syrian like the star, not like the country. And subscribe to my channel if you like it, and I make a new vlog as often as I can. Thanks for bearing with all of my fun YouTube video uploader experiences, and I hope you enjoy. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll make another one of these. And if you have a question for me about any other topic you want to hear me talk about, leave me some feedback, and I may even just give you a video response. That would be really cool, huh? So anyway, may you be blessed in your journeys, and may I be blessed on the rest of this journey while I try to make it home. And that's all I have for you now. In Lakesh. Peace out.